All right.
Temperature is fantastic. I know it's a little stormy out there, but I'm digging the October feel. The October vibe, I think, is going to be pretty. It's going to be pretty good. I don't think it's going to be hot.
I think it's supposed to be 100 degrees next week.
Is it really?
I don't know.
108.
But that's typical for Dallas or Texas, northern Texas, where you could have 2-3 weeks of great weather and then it's freaking hot
Right.
for a few days.
Dudes like us, welcome. It's October 13th. I'm Sean.
I'm Jeff,
I'm Paul.
And we're Dudes Like Us.
and we're enjoying a very tasty bourbon tonight.
Yes, we are. And it is the Woodford Reserve,
Double oaked.
double oaked, which we found out is truly double oaked, meaning put in one barrel.
Wow. Sean just shot his.
Oh wow!
It went down like syrup.
Put in one barrel and finished in a second.
Yeah. It definitely brings out, there's on the nose, it's some caramel.
Second finish in barrels has been toasted twice as long, but charred much more lightly than the other cask for an additional 9 months. Interesting. Okay. So it doesn't say how long it was aged to begin with, but we can assume 3 to 5 years.
I thought you said it was 45 years.
Yeah, I think I might have overshot that. Yeah, we said 45 in the first barrel and 35 in the second barrel.
Yeah, so it's our parents' age.
Yeah, it's amazing. No, anyway, so yeah, it's smooth.
Yeah, it's good. It's only 92 proof, 90 something like that proof.
Yep.
But it's good. I highly recommend it. It's tasty.
It is, agreed.
What are your takes on it, Sean?
At first, it's just like all the rest of them. It was kind of hot, burnt, but after having it up here for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I pulled it back. It's really smooth.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I pulled up a note here. It says Woodford Reserve doubling production in the 25th year. So this came out October 10th, 2021. One of the things the Kentucky is known for is making the best bourbon in the world. Woodford Reserve wants more of the world to enjoy its product as it celebrates its 25th anniversary. Master distiller Chris Moore says the milestone has led him to reflect on how far Woodford Reserve has come in the past quarter century. So I thought that was pretty cool. 25th year.
That is cool.
And now we're drinking it.
It came out October 10th?
Well, the story did.
Yeah. The story came out October 10th.
Okay. I was like, man, we just nabbed it, but we were there before the 10th. All right. Sounds good. All right. So, is there a write up on the mash bill or the nose finish? Any of that?
Scroll down a little bit there, Mr. Producer. It doesn't say.
51% corn is all it says.
Yeah, that's all it says. Shit, that's bourbon.
Yeah, I love how they do it. They don't want to they don't want to tell you what the recipe is. So they say, well, it's at least 51% corn because that's what it has to be a bourbon. That's funny.
So it can't be a bourbon.
So I think it's I think that its rye is low, if any. I think it's a wheat bourbon. It tastes like a wheat bourbon to me.
I don't know.
Because it's smooth.
I don't think it's a wheat bourbon.
It tastes very smooth.
Let's go to the Woodford Reserve website and see. Oh, you got to put in your blood sample and age and all that crap.
So it can't be a bourbon because it's been aged in more than one barrel.
No, I don't think that matters because you have flavored bourbons as well.
Mm.
Ooh, marzipan. The nose has marzipan on it.
We're going to have to go back over the bourbon rules again. We should know this by now.
No, aging in 2 barrels does not make it not a bourbon, does it?
I thought
Does it say the word bourbon on the bottle anywhere?
No, and that's why.
It does. It says
Does
Kentucky
it really?
Straight Bourbon.
Damn it.
Right there.
Oh, then never mind. I was just kidding.
Because they have finished bourbons as well, like the port barrels. Right?
All right.
Marzipan, I didn't know what that was. I had to look that up.
I still don't know what that is.
Marzipan's a confection consisting primarily of sugar, honey, and almond meal.
It's almond paste type of Isn't that what they make cake icing out of? Like when you see these cakes that are like Cake Boss, that big sheet of stuff, icing, I think that's marzipan.
Oh, okay.
I believe it is, but I'm not the baker.
Well, there you have it.
All right. So one of the things that everyone seems distracted with their phones and
I heard
tonight.
it beep, and I was like, "Where the fuck's it at?" I couldn't find it. It had landed on the ground.
I am tired of not remembering what the bourbon rules are, so I was going to look them up.
You know, it would be nice if we just put a big chart up on the wall, something with big
It
font.
would be really nice.
And
I'm sure they make a poster.
Well,
they make that. What was it that Scotch poster we saw?
No, maybe we can make it on our own.
You had it up.
We just got our CNC machine, folks.
Oh yeah, we could.
We could do a little home
But
bourbon rules.
We can have like like what are we going to talk about the bourbon and just have a bullet list. And
I like that.
And we just add to the bullet list every time there's something else we want to make sure that we include in our conversations because we are kind of random.
Well, there it is. Once you click on that thing, and we'll walk through it because I'm tired of not knowing.
So 10 fun facts about bourbon, chilled by the Chilled magazine. And I don't know if
I'm not seeing 10 facts.
I can't really see it.
It's not really fun. What is all that garbage down at the bottom that's popping up? It's a crappy website. Oh, it's Pinterest. That's why.
Oh, well, there you go. Because they're trying to sell you that. Okay. Well,
no, you don't sell anything on Pinterest.
There it is. All right. Produced in the United States and territories.
And the District of
Puerto Rico and the District of Columbia. All right. Made from a grain mixture that has at least 51% corn. That's the only one we always keep saying. Aged in new charred oak containers. It doesn't say one or more. It just says new. Distilled to no more than 160 proof. Thank God.
I think our most stout is 130.
Yeah, I was going to say you don't need to go higher than that. Entered into the container for aging at no more than 125 proof. Okay, that's probably why we don't remember these things.
These are really boring facts. I want to read something a little different.
There's more?
I've got bourbon fun facts.
Okay.
All right, so the number one bourbon fun fact, or start with it, it's the real reason May 4th is an important date. Sorry, Star Wars fans, but May the 4th was special long before Obi-Wan and Yoda wished us well in the Force. In fact, 13 years before the first Star Wars movie came out in the theaters, on May 4th, 1964, bourbon became America's only official native spirit.
Ah.
How about that as a fun
before,
fact?
So that's 1964.
1964, yep.
For that math skill. I'm a mathlete.
Well, I said it too, so.
Well, I did the math.
Truly
it came out. And
really
year Star Wars came out.
Shockingly amazing.
Yes.
Okay, let's move on to the next fun fact.
You want me to do another one?
Yeah, just do another one.
All right, well, so this next one, I think Paul may have seen it because he's interested in getting into the next one because he's going to be like, oh, look at me, I went on that.
I don't doubt it.
No, I'm not talking about downtown Dallas. Well, you know what? Never mind. So the number two one, there is a bourbon trail you can explore. If you're heading to Kentucky anytime soon, you'd be remiss to skip a trip down to the Bourbon Trail within 37 distilleries, bourbon-themed restaurants, and historic hotels. It's an adventurous every bourbon fanatic needs to experience. The Bourbon Trail. Have you been there?
I want to do it.
No.
I thought you had.
No, I've just been to the Wild Turkey Distillery.
Is that the only one you went to? Did you go to Williamsburg or something like that?
No, just that one. In Kentucky, that was the only one I've been to.
Oh.
So even casual consumers will love going to the Bourbon Trail. You'll get to explore Kentucky history and the roots of the bourbon industry, which are undeniably intertwined by bus, bike, or bourbon boat. You can experience the birth of America's first spirit hand.
You know what I think we should do? Especially with reaching such a wide audience, I say we start a GoFundMe to have the three of us sent on the Bourbon Trail.
That's what you call a pity party.
So
man.
what it's going to be? It's going to be each of us donating to it and paying for it anyway.
Yes.
Look, it's up to $10,000.
Yeah, you're not going to believe it, honey.
All
we
these
raised
$10,000.
Are you kidding? Yeah, from Jeff, Sean, and I.
That's fucked.
Yeah,
we're going to live large.
There has to be anonymous.
I wonder if we can get on because that's the Ohio River that side. I wonder if we can get on a boat in
Oh
Mississippi
yeah, you
somewhere.
mentioned that. Did you mention that during a podcast?
You can. I was researching it just tonight.
Did we talk about that on a
And
podcast?
take a paddle boat up there.
Yeah.
About the taking a river trip as opposed to a cruise.
Yes.
It is. Well, it's a paddle boat cruise.
It's a paddle boat cruise. Did we talk about this on one of the podcasts, or was that just in general?
I don't know, but my father-in-law is wanting to take Shelly and I on an all-expenses paid 9-day paddle boat cruise.
Up the Mississippi.
That or the Ohio.
You know what? I think
Well, it goes up the Ohio, then the Ohio.
we did not talk about that in a podcast. I think I was in the room with Alan
when he brought that up, huh?
Yeah.
It seems really cool. I mean, especially if you can do. Can you hop out of that and do the Bourbon Trail? No, not really.
Well, a lot.
Who knows?
There's distilleries in there downtown Louisiana or Louisville, and
so you can hit a couple.
And that's
of those
right on the river, and that's right on the river. All those numbers up there that are bunched. That's the Ohio River right there.
Oh, okay. I see.
So, yeah,
it's
just
you can
a matter
hit all
of
those.
It's just a matter if you're gone for 9 days. I would imagine you could find one that goes up the Ohio River.
Yeah. No, there
Could you go to Mississippi and then take go
What a
east?
cool thing.
Super cool.
That would be kind of cool. It's slow paced. Maybe the wife would even be able to do that. I don't know. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, because I remember.
I would definitely enjoy.
I remember growing up, going down to the Ohio River and seeing those huge ass paddle boats.
Yeah.
I mean, they're like old school. What you see.
Yeah, they are exactly old school.
Yeah, big and white. I think there was one called the Dixie Queen.
Well, how many people fit on that?
6.
They expanded it. They converted a closet. It's now 8.
No, I have no idea.
No, I mean the regular river boats. I mean, they're like 50 people, or is it like
probably like 130?
I really don't know. I've never looked. I know when I was a senior in high school, our little senior trip was a party barge on the river. It was an old paddle boat that had the top deck was just a big
just a party
room kind of a thing. I mean, we didn't have booze or anything, but it was, they had food and pop and.
That's more like a ferry.
Well, yeah. What's not
Right.
as big as the big ones with the suites and stuff in it, but it was still fun because we went up and down the Ohio River for a few miles.
It was a blast.
And it was good. You're outside.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it'd be fun.
Put in paddle boat cruise or
Yeah,
river boat cruise.
It's the paddle boats.
Yeah, just put in cruise on the end of that. And let's see if we get a hit. All right, let's see here. Yeah, 100 to 250 guests.
Yeah,
there we
depending. Go. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what they look like inside. I'm sure they're nice, but
I'm sure they're really nice.
Like
and the food's supposed to be awesome. I mean, it's supposed to be kind of like
they
other
are right
cruises.
There. That one, the second one there. That's what.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's what they typically look like.
Shouldn't even be that.
And actually, I think that one right there is from Cincinnati.
Shoot.
Maybe.
That's the
Yep,
U.S.
one
River
that-
Cruise. Get your Americana
Cincinnati.
via its waterways.
That looks over in Europe somewhere. That one there, because you can go up the Blue Danube and.
All right, so that's
Danube.
kind of cool because
Yeah,
I
see
see
right
like
there?
a dining area.
Oh yeah,
And I'm sure there might be some other areas you
and
can
gourmet
go, but
food, man.
I don't
Just
know.
like a normal cruise, right? A normal ocean cruise.
Yeah, those.
I
right
don't want
there.
to be that guy, but it looks like it may get a little boring on that to be for their 9 days, unless they.
Well, there's. I'm sure there's excursions. They're like,
Yeah.
okay, we're going to go up
Oh,
a
yeah.
full day to. I don't know where you go to up to Mississippi. We're going to go up to.
Yeah, they stop. Of course,
Memphis. We're going to stop in Memphis
exactly.
for a day.
So you basically
Spend the day in Memphis.
eat breakfast there, take off, do your day stuff, come back, have
to the next
dinner,
stop.
chill out on the boat, drink, go to bed, wake up in another, whatever,
Yeah.
Another
8
port.
hours
Or
away.
walk around on the deck and soak in the awesome, countryside.
I wonder if you could do some fishing off the side.
You fish right off the back.
I don't think I'd eat any fish that's come out of the.
I wouldn't
Ohio
either,
anyway.
man.
No, I wouldn't either.
Because there's some big ass fish in there, big sturgeon,
Yeah.
huge fish in the Ohio. I know in the Ohio. I'm sure there are in the Mississippi too. So, plus you have the bull shark
Bull shark, they're everywhere.
that goes up the Mississippi.
Are you kidding?
No, not at all.
Oh wow. I've never heard of a shark attack in the Mississippi River.
They go up the rivers because they can do salt and fresh water. We've had
Nice.
that discussion. Yeah, the bull shark can go up the river.
Those sturgeon get pretty big too. Those things attack people.
Yes.
The sturgeons. I mean, look at those
I
teeth.
don't know. I don't know. I've never heard of one, but They get really really big, several hundred pounds.
How has there not been a bull shark attack on the Mississippi River?
Has there been?
I don't know. I've never heard of one.
I don't
Interesting.
know.
I wonder if that happens. Those are sturgeons? That looks weird. Is that a sturgeon?
I don't know if that thing is with the looks like the sucker mouth, but that big one there, that's a sturgeon.
Oh my god!
That one next
look
to it,
how
yeah.
big that thing is.
Yeah.
So it says bull sharks are often considered to be the most dangerous sharks to humans because of
Yeah.
their aggressive tendencies.
And they're found off the shores in the Gulf of Mexico and Florida, where a lot of people like to swim in the ocean.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
So
Yeah, that would suck. Getting attacked by a shark would suck.
yes, it would.
Yeah.
I'm just
Are you looking for bull shark attacks in the river?
yeah, but I clicked on it and it went to like a national not National Enquirer, but the other national magazine.
Well, I mean, but we saw that one video of that person that was parasailing, and they started to come out of the water, and the bull shark attacked them. That
National
was on the
Geographic.
Ohio River.
Could have been. That was actually me when I was 15,
Really? And you were
Yeah.
parasailing?
parasailing on the Ohio River. Yeah, there's no way. We took our boat. It wasn't my boat. It was my two friends bought a boat. It was a piece of turd, 20-foot bayliner, and me and a buddy went down there one day. It was during the week, and took the boat down there. And well, that river, for one thing, is dangerous because you're going and you'll see like entire tree floating down the river.
Oh,
Just
right.
down the river. And if you're not paying attention, you're going to run into that damn thing. And they have these huge barges, massive barges that take coal and shit up and down the river.
Right.
And the wakes on those things are tremendous. And my asshole friend was like, well, I'm going to go jump those.
Oh, no.
So we're like getting air in the middle of the Ohio River, and you come
That's not a-
slamming down.
That's not a good idea.
No, well, you have no seatbelt on or anything, right? So, but when you're
Well,
19,
they'll split your boat in half.
it started to sink. That's why we had to go in. He was taking on water.
Oh, my God. What an idiot.
Yeah. So those are. I don't know if have you been on the Mississippi or the Ohio. Those are huge
I've driven over them.
rivers.
I've driven over them, but not, yeah, and they're massive.
So
Yeah.
how wide are they?
I mean, they're big.
About
It's
10,
not miles,
10 or
anything.
15 feet, right?
At least. I can broad jump it.
It's ridiculous how big they are.
It's bigger than you think. You know,
Yes.
when you're, especially if you're not used to seeing something that big.
Correct. Yeah, I
Um,
mean, usually you're on a family road trip, right? And you're like, hey, everybody, the Mississippi. And it's like, whoa.
yeah, it's big.
Yeah, it's massive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's big.
I mean, even if you think about a mile, half a mile, that's a long way.
Oh, yeah.
You're driving. That's what 30 seconds for if you're going 60 miles per hour.
Yeah, well, they're big enough to have two barges, one going one way, one going the other,
Yeah.
right? With other shit going on the sides.
Right.
So,
Like you guys
yeah, like
jumping.
yeah, following this barge,
Yeah.
just
Just enough room for that.
Yeah, we probably look like idiots out there.
Total idiots.
And the captain of the barge is probably like,
Oh,
"Fuck
well.
those fuckers, what can
Looks
I do?"
like I'm gonna suck another one up into the engine.
That's what happens. Too, you get sucked underneath
Yeah.
of the barge, and you come shooting out the bottom. Yeah,
Well, the producer popped up a screen. You got this. It's like a tugboat pushing a big flat.
yeah,
Is that what it is?
Crazy.
yeah, shit like that.
Look how big that is. Golly. Anyway,
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Big old barge.
And I think a riverboat down that thing would be amazing. The countryside
Oh,
and
yeah.
all the stuff on the
outside,
sides.
once you get outside the cities, because the cities are usually kind of gnarly
Yeah,
and
yeah.
nasty, but once you get out there, just like the Ohio, a lot of the Ohio is like this as well, where they're just trees and shit, and then you come across these little river towns and stuff like that, and you see the river folk.
Well, I tell you what, the Mississippi's big enough to where it became a massive boundary of the United States. Like getting across the Mississippi.
Oh yeah,
It's part of the Louisiana Purchase.
Yeah, I mean, getting across the Mississippi was like, to get to the west.
like how are we going to do it?
Yeah, past them. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they had to. I mean, even like those rafts with the guys on the poles, and they would, go back and forth. Imagine how
Right.
long that would take
I know.
to get like,
Would they
either-
do a rope and like pull yourself,
I don't know.
or have horses pull you?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's big enough to where it's a massive geological barrier.
Well, it is just like the Sierra Nevada mountains. That's where a lot of people died getting to California.
It's crazy how much the volume of water and the direction it's going.
Right.
Yeah, most of the rivers go the other way.
Mississippi goes south.
Well, down to the
Gulf of Mexico.
Gulf of Mexico. What do you mean? Well, like, why would they go the other way? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, there's one river in the United States that goes the opposite direction than almost all the other rivers.
That's the Nile, isn't it?
No, that's in Africa.
Yes, that's
I'm
the
talking
Nile.
about in the United States.
What river is that?
I don't know.
Well, the Ohio goes east and west.
It's the Brazos.
It could be the Brazos.
It goes north to Prosper.
So
The Mississippi goes north to south because it empties into the Gulf.
That's right.
The Ohio
You know
goes
what?
east and west.
Click on that black and white one. It shows all the different river systems, the major river systems. You got the Arkansas, the Missouri, the Illinois, the Ohio, all drain are tributaries, right, in
of
their
the
own ways,
Mississippi.
into the Mississippi, which is why the Mississippi is so freaking huge.
Well, at least down at the bottom. Who knows what it looks like way up there at the top? But
Right.
yeah, once all those
maybe
rivers
that's
dump
what
into,
it was. Maybe the Nile is the only one going north, and the rest of them are going
Prevailing
south.
winds. It's a prevailing winds thing. You can sail up the Nile because there's prevailing winds, which is atypical. Something like that.
So you're saying the wind is blowing the current?
No, the wind is blowing the opposite direction, which is why they're able to sail the opposite direction of from where the river is running.
Oh, regarding to the Nile?
The Nile. Yeah.
So the
And I
current
seem
isn't
to-
actually
that was
running
just
that
like a
direction?
little tidbit of
so the
trivia that
does
popped into my
is
head.
there any river that flows south to north?
Oh, I don't know.
That's in the northern hemisphere. Because the Amazon, I believe, flows
Well,
south to north, right?
No, the
But it's in
Nile
the southern
River.
hemisphere.
The Nile River flows south to north.
Okay,
Yes, but that is in the southern hemisphere. Yeah.
that's in the northern hemisphere. The Nile is.
It is
It's in Africa, right? Northern Africa.
northern Africa. Yeah.
I
yeah,
thought
so
it
yeah,
was
you're
in
right.
both.
Yeah, you're right. Because
So there's
there-
one section where it doesn't travel at all. The equator. There's no movement of water.
none.
It stays stagnant.
None.
It's just a big stagnant
It's a
Yeah.
pool.
chunk.
It's a pool.
It's really
It's all
nasty.
mossy.
It fills into
That's
a lake.
why a lot of people have no
Algae.
drinking water on the equator.
It's like Paul's hot tub.
It's a big toilet.
My hot tub is fine.
With
Petri dish.
schmeg.
Oh, well, look at that. No, the Nile River does go into the southern hemisphere.
That's why I said those in both.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Because remember, the equator goes right through the middle of the Sahara Desert. So that river is
Is the
divided.
equator where the divider is between the green and the?
No.
No, it's a little farther north than that. But interesting. We're doing a little bit of geography today.
That's very
Nice.
exciting.
That was not on the docket today.
No, it was not on the. But when we talk about interesting things, well, why stop?
That's right. So I'm curious now: is there any river that flows the opposite direction than it should? I mean, I could be all wrong about the Amazon.
I don't know.
I pulled that out of my ass. Just
What do you mean opposite
It's kind
direction?
of I pulled the prevailing winds thing out of my ass too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we knew that.
we
but-
sounded good.
So, the Amazon is in South. The Amazon River is in South America.
Yes, it's in Brazil.
Um,
Well, and more.
so
Actually flows. Yeah, the Amazon River actually flows backwards in the opposite direction of east to west.
So in defense of what Paul says, it says, although it doesn't happen often, hurricanes can cause coastal rivers to reverse flow between the extremely strong winds and the massive waves of water pushed by those winds, rivers.
No, that's not what, I'm not giving Paul credit for that.
But that's different. You're talking about Amazon.
No,
Scientists
no.
conclude why Amazon River flows backwards. That's what you need to read.
Well, it doesn't say that though.
No, up above. It does.
Well, here, click that.
Oh, you're talking about I'm looking at the screen.
One
Go-
more
go down.
above. Right there. Why does the Amazon flow 10 million years ago? A truly remarkable mystery ensued when this flow of water in the Amazon River changed from west to east, creating the mighty Amazon River that exists now with water flowing towards the Atlantic Ocean. A previous study suggests the about face in the Amazon River was due to the gradual changes in the rock deep beneath the South American continent. Oh, that was anticlimactic.
That didn't really tell you why.
No,
Okay, because of rocks,
I don't know. Interesting.
erosion.
I'm thinking gravity. Wouldn't it be?
Yeah, it should be.
I mean, shit
So
rolls
you
downhill.
go from high to low, right?
Well, so that's
Yeah.
that's what they're saying. Over a 10 million year period, I guess it used to flow one direction, and then there was uplift and rock underneath, and it changes the topography,
it's
and then suddenly
amazing.
the river changes direction.
It's amazing the power of water and the volume of water that's traveling from the south to the north. I mean, just to fathom what goes over Niagara Falls every single second.
Have you ever seen that clip of when they diverted all the water away from the Niagara Falls?
It was a while ago,
No,
but yeah, they diverted the Niagara Falls was dry,
completely dry.
Were they cleaning it?
Yeah, I think that's what the goal was.
No,
they were reinforcing something, and there was a bunch of shit down there.
Yeah, I don't remember why they did it. I don't remember. They had to have some.
It was an
reason.
engineering feat.
It was crazy.
When was this done? Like 1920?
Something like that. I'm sure it was the Army Corps of Engineers.
There it is.
Yeah, it was creepy.
Where did they route it? I mean, that water's got to go somewhere.
In the sewer.
They said a little gutter. Little gutter that ran down the street.
Yeah. They had a gigantic bag.
They just told everyone out there, said, hey, expect the water down the street.
They stored it into a big bag, and then they poured it right back.
No, hold on. Just before midnight, March 29, 1848, Niagara residents accustomed to a flow of the Niagara River were awakened when it ceased to flow.
Oh, that must have been just apocalyptic.
Dude, that was in 1848.
Was it really?
Yes.
No, they wouldn't have pictures like that.
They had pictures back then.
Well, I know, but you know what I mean.
Well, maybe they did it again.
No, there really was a picture from 1848.
Yeah, it was in a helicopter.
Right.
So why did they do it?
That was a drone.
Yeah, but some of those are color pictures. There's no way they had color pictures back then.
Yeah, you can.
They've done this more than once.
Well, you can color pictures.
No, you can't.
World War II in color.
No, can't do it.
All right.
Sorry.
Hold on, I'm going to find out why. Why did they? So they stopped to study what actions, if any, should be taken to remove the debris at the base of the American Falls.
Why would
they care?
Yeah, well,
They said the American Falls were stopped by U.S. Army Corps of Engineers in order to study what actions, if any, should be taken to remove the debris at the base of the American Falls. Upon completion of the study, it was decided to let nature take its course and do nothing about the rock removal. I believe there may have been some pieces that were precariously attached to the side, and they were debating on whether they should mitigate it, knock it down, or
why? I mean, who's it going to hit?
You know what? I guess they had tours down there. I don't know.
They did that in 1848.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That is amazing. I wonder how many fish died.
So they said there's an estimated 5,000 dead bodies found. No, there was an estimated 5,000 bodies were found at the foot of the falls between 1850 and 2011. So I'm wondering if that's
people who just swam over it?
Or committed suicide.
Or committed suicide or thought, I can get into this barrel and just go over the side.
Or they just kind of like, hey, Jimmy the fish, hey, would you take a hike over here? You owe me some money.
And that's why they die, because that gigantic mound of debris,
they slam into
it. They slam into it.
Yeah,
it's not like this nice deep pool at the bottom.
No, it's not like a nice sandy landing.
No, it isn't. Interesting.
Nice Hawaiian pool.
I bet you they could never do that nowadays because there would be too many environmentalists complaining.
Yeah, they'd be like the.
But because this was done in the middle of the night.
I think it would wake you up if you're used to that roar.
Oh, for sure.
That's what they said. They said the entire town woke up because that's how much constant.
Well, did they not tell them they were going to do this?
Well, who knows? I mean, it's not like they had a TV.
They had Facebook.
Let's ask them.
But can you imagine? It's kind of like having a vacuum cleaner running, and then all of a sudden it turns off, and you're kind of like, oh.
Oh, it must have been a deafening silence.
Yeah, it woke everyone up. It was so quiet.
Yeah.
No, seriously. That's super cool.
Imagine the tranquility they had for that short amount of time.
Well, you get used to the noise.
Yeah, but then the absence of the noise, it must have been
it's a distraction.
It must have created a vacuum.
Well, but you know what? so the water was probably diverted to the other side. So it's still
Ron
like
Jeremy?
there was still a lot
Hold
of
on.
noise.
Go up. Roll up. Scroll back up.
Did look like
Was that Ron
Jeremy?
Jeremy right there?
I don't think it is.
Oh my God! Cheat death.
No, that's God, look at that comb over.
He tried to cheat. He tried to cheat death twice at Niagara Falls. Okay,
Yeah, whatever.
well, that's kind of dumb. Anyway, if you're looking at an overall map, I think they diverted it to the other side. There's two sides of it. It looks like.
We have the horseshoe and then the American.
Right. So they would have still heard the noise from the other side. Just saying.
Well, that's on the Canadian side, so
So I don't know how far away it
didn't
is.
cross the border.
I've never been there. Have you guys seen the Niagara Falls?
Yes, it was frozen when I was there.
I have not. I have not seen it.
Yeah, it was frozen when I
I
was
would
there.
encourage you to
Like
go.
literally not flowing, like
No.
flowing underneath.
It was frozen.
I
yeah,
would-
it freezes.
I would encourage you to go,
Dude.
but I wouldn't bring anybody that's going to be bored. Because personally, I'm thinking you would want to go there,
Yeah, see, that's
have
what I would say.
lunch, and take
Right.
the time to walk around it.
Right. And
And-
soak up everything you can about it.
Man, I'm telling you, it's.
So you did go see it.
I've been there several times.
Oh, okay.
When we would visit my grandparents, it was shorter for us to go north into Canada and then come south again around Lake Michigan
Right.
because they lived. Well, it would be take less time.
Right.
So we would go by Niagara Falls, stop by there almost every time.
Yeah, that's cool.
We get out, cool. But I mean, just to sit there, and they've got this little concrete wall with a little wrought iron fence above it, and you could.
There's so much water going over the side.
You got 10 foot deep, 200 yards across, constantly falling.
Right.
I mean, it's just
Awesome.
it's humbling.
Yeah. The raw awesomeness.
I wonder if
and
they could
power
turn that
of,
into energy of some sort.
kind of like a bunch of people pedaling bikes at a
So
gym.
probably not quite as efficient, but something like that.
Well, they have hydroelectric dams.
Well, no, I wonder if they have anything. They may have something on these on the river.
They
just
need like
upstream.
a giant paddle wheel that goes all the way across.
Yes, like
That-
right under the water, so it's like
Going, yeah, super
flip the
crazy.
water everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, producer, are there Tums over there?
Anybody need a beer?
Yes, I'm out.
I would love a beer.
Okay, I have three. I have Miller High Life. I've got Yingling Light and Yingling Lager.
I'll take a light.
I'll do a lager. Give me the fat beer.
Yeah, we really like the Yinglings. I wonder if they're going to introduce more of the line. You know, they started out with the lager, the light, and the flight. I wonder if they're going to do the black and tan and some of the other ones.
They should. I think it's a really good beer.
Yeah, it is tasty.
Actually, I don't.
You don't like it?
No, I don't want them to.
Oh, they have the gold too, which I was just kind of meh.
Don't. No, I'm telling. What I'm saying is, don't queer it up. Just have Yingling. Have Yingling Light. You don't need a seltzer. You don't need any of that other shit.
No, I'm not saying they may have a seltzer. I don't know, but they have.
Well, I mean-
they also have seasonals.
Well, and that's fine too. But I just don't want them to queer it up by diluting it so much with all these different. Yingling's good. The original recipe.
Yeah.
It's one of the oldest beers in the United States. Was it made in Pennsylvania?
Correct.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah,
It
Pennsylvania.
was funny. I went to a football watching party on Saturday, and I asked my friend who hosted it. I said, "Can I bring anything? What kind of beer do you like?" And he goes, "Oh, any light beer." So I brought Yingling Light, right? And my wife was like, "No, I mean, is that a shit beer? Is that a shit beer? We should get something like a nicer beer."
Like what?
I don't know. I don't know. I was like, nothing wrong with Yingling Light. It's not a shit beer.
Right.
It's not like Bush Light
Right.
or I don't know. You know, some of what the college kids drink,
right.
like Lone Star,
Old
Lone Star
Milwaukee
Light. Right. Anyway, it's just really funny how she was like, "Well, let's not get a shit beer."
Well, we
Yeah.
drink shit beer then. Well, I wonder,
No, it's absolutely not a shit beer. I disagree.
like the Oktoberfest. I'd like to try that.
Yeah, that might
I
be
like
good.
I like the Marzens in the box. And
Is there
stuff like
anything
that.
consistent about Oktoberfest beers? Because a lot of
They're
them
typically-
make that.
They're typically Marzens, like a Bach.
like
Right.
a Bach.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, because there's
I guess
lot
there's
of them that do
there's
an
certain
Oktoberfest.
types of grains that go in it that make it what the traditional Oktoberfest
Yeah.
German beer would be.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I think there's some seasonal stuff that goes in there.
Hmm.
Now that beer right there, I wasn't a huge
Yingling.
fan of.
Yingling Hershey's?
Yeah, I bought a.
No, we didn't get that.
I don't think I can do a chocolate beer. That's
We did
gross.
not try that. The
I
chocolate
did.
porter. Oh, you had it?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. We didn't have it. I've never had that one.
I don't know. Is it thick and nasty?
Well, it's a porter.
Yeah, it's a porter. It doesn't have as many bubbles.
Was it creamy?
Was it all nude?
Jesus, man, that sounds.
What?
Everything has to be sexual with Jeff.
Me? All I said, I asked if it was creamy.
Yeah,
it was very just. Yeah,
Did you spill all over your leg?
fucking pedophile.
Someone called you a pedophile the other day. What was that?
What?
What?
At Kroger?
What?
Did you pat somebody's bottom and got called a
Nobody
pedophile?
said. No one called me a pedophile. The hell?
What's the backstory, Jeff?
I
You
don't
can't
know.
just
There's no
leave it hanging like
backstory.
that.
That's the master
You
of
can't leave it
deflection.
hanging like that.
He's the master of deflection. The power of
Just
suggestion.
a suggestion. See, now it's focused on Sean.
Yeah.
But not it's really about pedophilia. But have you seen what's going on in the Loudoun County School Board?
Someone said you were loud in whatever in the school board.
What?
See, I just did that.
He's a domestic terrorist.
That's right. Well, no,
That's actually
It's a
sad.
meltdown.
the guy who got arrested, and they were all making fun of him, calling him a domestic terrorist. Did you hear what he was trying to do?
The father?
The father or the daughter?
Oh, the father was freaking out because they were covering up his daughter's rape.
Correct. By a trans guy using the
Yeah,
girl's
she was
girl's
forcibly sodomized in the bathroom at school.
Yeah.
And they did nothing about this kid who was
Except transfer him.
a transgender.
They transfer him or her.
They transferred him without doing anything about it, and then he
He
molested.
did it again.
Then he assaulted a girl in a classroom at the next school.
15-year-old boy.
And now they're addressing it.
Well, what they were doing is they wanted him to be quiet because they're trying to pass this crazy transgender law
Right.
For the schools, saying that whoever it is, they could participate in the sport of their gender. They can go to the bathroom of their whatever gender.
It's the
And
whole woke, transgender woke
it's-
thing,
and
and it went bad immediately.
and they covered that up because it would have looked poorly, and they probably wouldn't have been able to pass the
Right.
woke agenda.
Right. Unbelievable.
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, that school board, they need to be
Yeah,
voted
all of them
out.
need to go.
They need to be voted out.
Yeah, they're all
The problem is, I
they're
mean,
screwed.
that's a thing that you vote for. So people voted them in.
right.
So it's either they wanted that or they didn't know, and now they need to get their asses out of there.
Yeah, well, I mean, the silent majority just like minds their own business, do their own thing until you piss them off like that, right? But the minority, passionate people who are fighting for a cause and they have their ideology out, and they're the ones that go and find those people and vote them in.
Right. Well, I know.
Honestly, there's not a lot of people that take enough time to vote.
Right. That's my whole point. The silent majority just sit back and get a paycheck and take care of their kids and just do life.
Right.
They don't focus on bullshit like school boards and
You're
I say-
hoping that
I
they
say
do
bullshit,
it right.
but it's not bullshit.
It's not
That's the
bullshit.
point. It's not bullshit. But a lot of people think school board, HOA, local races in their city,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
I mean, they think president, vote president.
President and Senate.
Not even Senate. I mean, I think they literally just think about president.
Right.
The vast majority of people, and yet
think you're right.
exactly right. They don't think about Congress. They don't think about representatives or Senate. They don't think about House races. They don't none of that stuff. They don't.
Well, I think it's going to be different this time around
I think you're right.
because there's so much press one way or the other of what's going on. Right.
Because all these institutions have been infiltrated by wackos.
Has
ideologues.
Donald hasn't said he's running yet, has he?
not officially, I don't
Who,
think.
Trump?
Yeah.
He
He and I are first name.
he has
Donald.
Donald. Yeah, is Don going to
What's
run?
up, DT?
Me and Donaldus.
Yeah.
Donaldus Maximus.
He has hinted that he is going to but I don't think he is.
Yeah, he keeps dropping these bombs that big surprise coming.
Yeah,
big announcement coming.
I think you guys are going to be really happy with the decision I make. I really do.
He don't sound anything like Don.
I really do.
I
huge.
really do.
It's going to be really huge.
Oi!
You sound like a stoner. Your version of Donald Trump.
Wow.
What's up, dudes?
You guys, well, that's what he said. He said that whatever he's not gonna say what he's gonna if he's gonna run or not, but I think you guys are gonna be very happy with me running. I mean, with the decision.
I think
made.
he's probably going to wait to see what happens in the midterms.
Yeah, he'll jump in if he's not happy about who's.
I think he'll campaign for a bunch of folks, and then if we win the House, possibly the Senate, he'll be like, "All right, now I'm in."
They have screwed up so badly, meaning the left. I don't know how they don't get trounced in 2022.
Well,
they have screwed up so mammothly, awfully badly.
Everything is up. Food costs are up.
Yeah.
Everything's up. Nobody's happy about the mandates. Everyone's ignorant about the vaccine.
Biden's latest poll numbers are 38% positive.
Yeah, it's
approved.
I think it's in the 20s for the border.
It's unbelievable.
What 20% of 25% approve that he's doing a good job on the border?
Now, who is that?
Yeah, who is that?
Idiots that just like Trump.
People.
They get interviewed and they're like, "Are you happy with how he Biden?"
People that
Biden?
don't live
yeah, I like Biden.
close
Yes,
to the border.
yes, I approve.
People that don't live close to the border.
Yeah, folks up in like
Or
New
people
York
who don't listen to the news and don't
people
care.
are just
and
ignorant. They live in their little bubble and they're like, "Oh,
Trump.
you can't trust
Biden,
those guys."
Biden, yeah, Biden. I hear you.
It makes me sick. I mean, even my trip up to New Jersey, I met a few people. I was kind of like, I had to bite my tongue.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm there in a professional capacity. And,
right.
And I'm just like,
Were they spouting off about Trump still? Or how great Biden is?
They weren't spouting
out you're
yeah.
from
So
Texas.
give us a scenario. Well,
So-
why were they talking politics?
It's about the vaccine mostly.
Okay.
And how everyone should get it, you know, not just that everyone should get it, but it's because our president says everyone should get it. We need to be abiding by what our president says.
Oh my God.
And I'm thinking,
No.
Can you believe he's doing all of this with an executive order? No legislation, no
He hasn't done anything yet.
No court anything. No, he told OSHA, right, to go.
This has just been a press release.
I know, but OSHA is now putting together the rules for his executive order.
I know, but these companies are making decisions already based off of a press announcement.
I know that.
So there is no rule, there is no law, there is no order. He just came out and says we should do this. So all these companies are starting to do it
ridiculous
before it's even in place, and even if it's going to be in place,
so
because it may get shot down.
Yeah, well, already we have a judge that did a stay for United Airlines. For anybody who has a medical or religious
they delayed
exemption,
they delayed the decision.
Yeah, they said, you hold on, you can't mandate this. We're looking at this type of thing.
Well, there was
but it was only for religious and medical exemptions.
They had a deadline, and they just pushed the deadline back.
That kind of goes into
mandating the vaccine.
The whole Southwest thing.
Oh, that's what it was for Southwest.
The whole Southwest thing is intriguing to me because Southwest is not really coming out. They're lying as to what the reason is.
I know.
They're saying weather, and there is no weather. Why is it affecting the other airlines?
Why did they do that?
Well,
because pilots went on strike.
They called it sick.
They walked off the job because they were protesting the vaccine mandate.
Whoa, that's a big deal.
I don't know. Is that officially? I mean, that's what a lot of people are saying. But then the other people are going, no, that's not it. That's not it. So I don't think it's officially come out. But a lot of the pilots are saying, yeah, a lot of folks called out, right? But the stance of the company is it was the weather and it was the
well, you know why they said it's the weather.
controllers.
They say if they say it's the weather, then their tickets aren't refundable.
Correct.
Mm.
Yeah, they don't have to help you out. They don't have to help you find a hotel either. But if it's a mechanical problem, then they have to help put you up for the night.
Or if the pilots walk off the job.
Probably. But yeah, they said weather and air traffic control, and then
I would
The
spend
union came out and says, no, it wasn't the air traffic control.
You should always spend the
And
extra bucks on the insurance.
saw an interview with a guy, and he's like, yeah, I checked all the connecting flights, and there were no weather issues on any of the connecting
It's
flights.
crap. It's total crap.
They
So
think this is still like 1980 when you could say it's a weather. No one really knew. Now everyone has basically the Weather Channel on their phone. They can look.
So how shady is that? They did that because they didn't want to have to refund
That's exactly why.
the tickets? That's so crappy.
I mean, that's not the official word,
And
but come on.
I've always had so much respect for Southwest
Well,
Airlines.
that's when Herb Kelleher was there, right? I bet if he was still in, did he pass away?
I don't know.
He's the one who started it, but I bet if he was still around, he wouldn't have been doing this shit.
I mean, I have so much respect for that airline because it's so like, Texas and Dallas and.
Would you hear what Abbott just did?
Mm-mm.
He just said, fuck off to Joe Biden. We're gonna make it a law that says you're not allowed to fire somebody for not getting the vaccine.
If you have a headquarters in Texas, you cannot mandate.
Yeah, but then Biden came back and mocked Abbott and said that federal law trumps state law. Sorry. I mean, this is a mess, man. And we got all these people
it doesn't.
doing executive orders.
But it doesn't.
Fuck Joe Biden. How is he fucking king?
He thinks he is.
To make an executive order to tell 300 million people that they have to go get a fucking vaccine? Are you kidding me?
All his subjects.
Yeah, well, he's not fucking king. And why is there not legislation that's gone through Congress to mandate a vaccine? How does he have the power to tell hundreds of millions of people what they have to do?
He doesn't, but unfortunately, it's like the power of suggestion. He said it. So all these CEOs of these companies are like,
I don't
this
disagree.
takes me off of the
I don't disagree.
hook.
I don't disagree, but he is pursuing this with OSHA.
Correct.
And OSHA is putting together the work safety guidelines that includes getting a vaccine.
Right.
Otherwise, you're in violation
Right.
of OSHA guidelines. Just like he's using the CDC to go after gun control.
So here's a
because he's
question.
calling that a health crisis.
So here's a question.
It's ridiculous.
What's a health crisis?
Yes.
What is?
Gun control.
Oh, you said that.
Gun
last time.
violence.
So here's a question.
Even though there's been 647 people killed by guns in the last year.
Right. So currently the drug companies are exempt from any lawsuits. Right?
Yeah.
And the assumption is you can take it or you don't. If you take it, you assume the risk. If you don't have to take it.
But yet you can sue a gun company.
No, what I'm getting at is now, let's say my company comes to me and says, you have to take this. Can I sue my company?
No.
Why not?
Well, I mean, I'm going to assume no.
Why not?
I think you should be able to, yes.
So you're telling me I have to take this.
Right.
And then I have to take this.
Right.
And if I take it and I
get sick,
I'm going to hold you
die.
responsible. Or my family is going to hold you responsible because you made me take this.
Yeah, but if they're
it's a choice. You could have quit.
Well, if they're just I mean, I know right now it's a little different because the guidelines haven't hit yet. But when they do, they'll just say, "Well, we had no choice but to, follow the mandate of OSHA."
Well, then why not hold OSHA responsible?
Can we sue OSHA?
It's a municipality, isn't it?
I don't know. It's a government agency.
The government agency. I don't think you can sue the government.
I'm sure you can.
Well, okay. Well, then people need to sue OSHA.
I think Texas has sued the government 38 times this year so far.
Well, I mean, talking about individuals, not the state of Texas.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know either.
So that's the thing, If there's a medicine out there I don't want to take because there's side effects, that's on me. I'll live with whatever. Either I could take it and possibly have side effects, or not take it and deal with whatever happens.
Right.
But if you're telling me I have to take this medicine, and there's known side effects, and I have those side effects, you can't do anything about it.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it's totally.
You have to take some responsibility. If you're telling me I have to take this, what responsibility do you have if something goes wrong?
Right. There we go. Will employees be able to sue over OSHA violations?
Unions representing hundreds of thousands of nurses, healthcare workers filed a lawsuit against the Occupational Safety and Health Administration on Thursday, alleging that the agency is violating its duties to keep workers safe by failing to issue infectious disease standard to protect healthcare workers.
Oh, wow. So this is the opposite. These are people suing OSHA because they haven't mandated that everybody take a vaccine.
That is 2020.
Right.
That's 2020. So that's
So
not
this
current.
is the opposite. This is people saying,
But the fact is that you can't sue OSHA.
"Oh, okay, well that's a
So
good point. That's a good point."
that's why I'm bringing that up. So, if OSHA's mandating it, then they say, well, what's the federal law? So is it a law?
No, it's not a law. It
That's what
wasn't
I'm
passed
saying.
by Congress.
So it hasn't been passed by Congress, so OSHA can't push it. And furthermore,
I don't know. I don't know if that's true.
See, here's what I think. That should happen. If they have an actual vaccine that is authorized, then and only then should this even be considered.
Right. I mean, not experimental.
Correct. Not the experimental
Isn't that
emergency
crazy?
version. It would have to be an actual
dial
vaccine.
everything back to that. We are making the entire country get vaccinated on something that's experimental. I mean, insane.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely insane.
I don't know. I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do either. I mean, and what's nuts about it is it's all based on a lie. Unvaccinated people pose no more threat to anybody else than a vaccinated person does.
They can't answer that question.
I mean, but that's what I keep coming back to. I was like, I mean, they are totally, what's the word? Villainizing. I mean, they're making unvaccinated people to be complete villains.
Right.
Yeah, they're shaming us.
Yeah. I mean, and the facts don't prove it out. Vaccinated people are just as infectious, right, as unvaccinated people. Vaccinated people are just as much at risk to cause a workplace danger as an unvaccinated person.
Mm-hmm.
So why are we all...
So the entire office could be vaccinated, and you could still have an
outbreak.
100%.
Well, now those people, in theory, will have less of an impact in the response to the virus because vaccinated people have less of it's not a hard response. You know what I mean? They get over
it's
it
just
quicker.
just like you've had COVID. You could get it again.
I could get it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
theoretically, it wouldn't be as strong.
Right.
I would imagine, right? Since
Right.
you do have some antibodies.
I would think so. But I mean,
you could still get it again.
Yes. I mean, that's the part that it really bothers me, that it's all based on a lie. All of this crap, this craziness that we're forcing the country to go through, and all these fighting and companies and employees and people quitting and losing their jobs, and all of this is built on a lie.
Yeah.
That unvaccinated people are a bigger risk than vaccinated people. They're not.
Yeah. One of the other things that I've been watching is the whole airline, the pilots. A lot of them they have until December 7th or something like that,
right,
to do this. And they expect, 10%, 25% or whatever to quit. If that is. And what that's going to do is that's going to completely
cause chaos
for the holiday
travel chaos.
Going to cause complete chaos.
I mean, it's already causing chaos in the hospitals.
Yeah.
I mean, a bunch of nurses have lost their jobs and quit.
Yeah.
They had to or got fired. Fired.
Maybe that's what they want. Maybe the shadow government wants us to break down and to put this in some sort of police order.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's one more step for communism.
Yeah, I just don't understand how hospitals can absorb that.
I mean, they're already struggling.
I know.
Well, they're calling in the National Guard.
Into the hospital?
Yeah, the National Guard is the medics for the National Guard are now nurses. Some of the states are doing that.
I mean, this is a self-inflicted. When they complain about we just don't have enough nurses, well, you fucking caused that by forcing a vaccine.
Right. What's going to happen is it's probably going to be very lucrative to become a nurse.
Oh, they're already doing retention bonuses, signing bonuses.
It's going to be very lucrative to be a nurse. It's almost like, do I need to go become an RN? Because there's going to be so much demand for a nurse. Now, granted, you have to get the vaccine, but you're going to get paid extremely well.
Yeah.
You're going to have signing bonus, retention bonus, and I think a very healthy salary.
This is just, we live in a weird world right now.
It'd be a good, like I said, if you want to get the vaccine anyway, become an RN.
And wait.
High demand.
I mean, think about, let's go into the future, 6 months, 10 months, and all the other companies are doing it. My company, your company, and now a bunch of people are unemployed because they don't want to take the vaccine.
Right.
I mean, there's going to be jobs. I mean, they're already struggling to hire.
Yeah.
So what then? I mean,
Yeah. Well, airline pilots, right?
airline pilot, anybody.
I just lost 10% of my pilots. I need to go hire another 1,000 pilots,
Right.
or whatever that number is, right?
Right.
So
I don't know. I just don't understand this. I mean, I don't know how. I don't know how our workforce can absorb this. If every single company starts firing everybody because,
according to
Well, I mean, considering the volume of folks we have coming up north, we'll be able to rehabilitate.
those are not skilled employees, though.
Well,
Those are not
the-
airline pilots.
there
Well,
may
maybe
be
they
a
will
few
be.
diamonds in the rough, you know.
Well, maybe a couple.
maybe they'll throw them all into simulators and they have 6 weeks to start flying airplanes.
Yeah, just
Could
pretend
be.
they're going to be a radical terrorist. That's what they did
Yeah.
to jump on board to fly those planes to crash them into the towers.
Except this time they'll let them in the door. I mean, they're just give them a badge and a
Right.
uniform and put
Right.
them in there.
I saw another interview with the sheriff of L.A. County, and he was a Democrat because sheriff's elected official,
Yes.
and he was a Democrat, and he was on Tucker as well, and he decided he's going to go against the mandate rule. He's like, I can't afford to lose 10 to 15% of my workforce.
There we go. Why
goes-
are not more people standing up and saying "F you"? We're not doing that.
He's like, I believe in the vaccine 100%. He goes, but who is it for me if my coworker believes he shouldn't take it? Why is my belief trump his belief?
Right.
And he's like, and I can't afford to lose 10 to 15%. He goes, you think the homeless and the violence is bad now? Wait
Right.
until 10 to 15% of my police force is gone.
Right. And they
Right.
and they literally can't patrol and they can't keep
Yeah.
things under
He
control.
goes, when you call 911, you expect a response. He goes, you won't get a response.
It's incredible.
And people don't think these things through when they do things like this.
Well, they think that they're going to strong arm, 98% of Americans into getting the vaccine, and then they get what they want. But Americans don't bend like that.
So my question is, once we're at 98%, what's next?
What's that 98%?
What do you
let's say we eventually, everyone's like, all right, I got the vaccine.
They won.
Now
Everybody,
what?
Boosters every 7 months.
Now what? Well, those
Forever.
well, probably, but those
Forever.
but that has not been approved yet. I don't believe.
Well, I mean,
But keep
I
going.
don't understand why they just don't just say, hey, man, look, we've got another flu shot. All right. So we've got some shit going on, and just give everyone the option. I mean, the flu shots are doing great. I
Yeah.
mean, they really are. A lot of people get them.
I get the flu shot. I'm going to get one this year, as a matter
I
of
don't.
fact.
I
So-
never got one.
I don't
get
like
it
to get them
every year.
either for the same reasons. But I'm just saying, if they would stop with the shenanigans and stop forcing it down people's throat, and just say, hey, man, look, if you want the shot, here it is.
That's
if
what
you
I've
don't
always
want
said.
it, suck it. You know?
That's what I always said. It should have been just another flu shot,
And I
but it's
guarantee
been
it,
turned political.
they probably would have had. I mean, the same amount of people would have got the shot, as
Right.
and then it's just, to me, it makes sense. If when you
Well-
force shit down people's throats, and they
You
don't
get
want to do
pushback.
it, man, dude, it's just not. It's just not healthy.
And given that the whole basis of all that is based on a lie, it makes me the only thing I can think of is conspiracy theory. That they're in cahoots with the pharmaceuticals,
Big pharma.
or they made a promise to the pharmaceuticals that you'll make $30 trillion, and or they basically signed a contract that said that they would mandate vaccines, or that's the only way that we'll kill ourselves making this vaccine is if you have to promise that you'll mandate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
That's the only thing I can think of because it's based on a lie.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
You know what I don't get? Interesting factoid.
I smell a left turn coming here.
95% of the bourbon comes from Kentucky,
Yes.
Right.
but it doesn't have to.
Well, look at Garrison
No, it
Brothers.
doesn't. It doesn't
So,
have to be Kentucky.
Bourbon creation is linked to Louisville, but most of it comes from Kentucky. Unlike other distinctly geographic bound products, though, such as champagne, which comes from Champagne, France.
Champagne.
Yeah, you can't call it
Oh.
champagne unless it comes from Champagne.
I'm sorry.
What was that?
That was French.
Oh.
I don't think it was.
I'm Duolingo.
Well, bourbon,
Duolingo.
champagne has to come
like
from
the app.
Champagne, France. It has to actually come from the city.
Correct.
Bourbon can come from anywhere in the United States.
Correct.
But only the United States.
Only the U.S.
I didn't even know that,
Rico-
though. I didn't know that.
Well,
I thought
Garrison Brothers is a bourbon.
Yeah.
It's
I
in
still
Texas.
didn't know that, though. So today there are bourbon distilleries all over the United States, including California.
Oregon Spirits.
Ooh, that's a dead giveaway.
Well, yeah,
Jack
there's
Daniels.
Tennessee.
That. Yeah. Tennessee. Yeah. So here's an interesting factoid. Here's an interesting factoid.
I guess
Yeah.
that's a Tennessee whiskey.
Bourbon. The word bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know where that came from?
Bourbon.
Bourbon. Someone's last name in it.
Well, it's actually it's I believe it's a region. So when you know what cognac is. So in French,
Cognac.
they made cognac in like the Bourbon region. I don't know what it's called. Maybe it's a county or something. But it was Bourbon. Maybe it was the last name. But they came to Kentucky, and they started building some of the first distilleries.
In Bourbon County. Or wherever. Oh,
So-
there it is. Bourbon County.
Bourbon County.
In
So,
Kentucky and Bourbon Street in
Despite
New
its
Orleans.
roots in American history, Bourbon's name is entirely French. The House of Bourbon was extremely powerful in Europe and
Mm.
placed several French kings from 1500s to the 1800s. We should clarify, though, that
Mm.
the Bourbon dynasty probably had little to do with Bourbon's creation. Instead, according to Bourbon expert Michael Veach, it's more likely that the two industry entrepreneurs stole the name for marketing purposes. But basically, there's the Tarascan brothers,
Sure.
whatever. They're the ones that traveled from Cognac, France, to Louisville in the 1800s. And there was they formed the first bourbon distillery, and
Why Louisville?
yeah,
Because you couldn't like fly straight to it back in the day, so you had to go by
'Cause it-
boat to, like
right off the Ohio.
like from New York.
Was it off the Ohio?
Probably, yeah. It's right on the Ohio, so they must have like did.
well,
the,
they sell their whiskey down the river,
did the boat.
down to New Orleans.
There you go. There you go. That's why.
Yeah.
There you go.
So regardless of we also know that they decided to age their whiskey in charred barrels to mimic the French cognac's flavor. By the way, so that's just an interesting little tidbit there.
So it says here, this is Wikipedia, so take it for what it's worth.
Right.
It says in 2018, distillers derived $3.6 billion in revenue. I would think it would be more than that. As much bourbon people buy, at least we
Right.
buy. I would think 3.6 billion is light. That's a lot of money, but
it's not a
all
lot
those
of losers
You
like
know what?
us.
That puts 3.5 trillion in perspective.
How much bourbon could you buy for that?
I mean,
All of it.
You could.
three,
And then some.
3.6 billion is nothing compared to 3.5 trillion.
Yeah.
What is that? That's 3,600? Is it 3,600 billions?
Something like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
I thought you were a
Oh
mathologist.
yeah, I was like, where's that go? Sure.
No, I'm a
It's
math.
36 to the
I'm a mathlete.
10th power.
I'm a mathlete.
Only when Star Wars is involved.
God.
You really don't know this.
What?
You don't know how
what
many-
percentage is 3.5 billion to 3.5 trillion?
Well, just how many billions are there in a trillion? Is it
Do,
1,000?
do, do, do,
I think it's
do,
1,000.
do, do. All right, here's another
Yes,
fun
it's
fact
1,000
from the bourbon
billion.
distilleries.
For a trillion.
So there are
Fun fact.
3,600
Bourbon
billions
distilleries
in
made
a trillion.
penicillin during World
So
War
that's
II.
almost
Did you know that?
10
World War II,
revenues.
bullets and
bourbon
bombs
revenues
were
in that
scary.
What'd you say?
I was like another fun fact from bourbon. You guys just like babbling
Well,
about.
we're
Well, because we're math leading.
math leading it.
Yeah, no, you're fucking just whip your dicks out and get it over with. Bourbon distilleries made penicillin during World War II.
See?
Yes.
All
Good
right, so
old-fashioned
during
American.
World War II, bullets and bombs were scary, but wound infection was a legitimate concern as well. Though Sir Alexander Fleming
Mm.
discovered penicillin some 15
Flegm.
years before World War II broke out, the antibiotic was in short supply. So bourbon distillers converted to make penicillin on a large scale, saving countless numbers of wounded soldiers. So
You know what the trivia is going to be now?
what's that?
In 2020, all the distilleries made hand sanitizer.
Yes.
Ooh, vodka makers?
Yeah, those
Yes.
big bottles. They made hand sanitizer. They converted and made it hand. That's why.
And all the textile companies made masks.
Yes. Anyway, go
Lord.
ahead, Sean.
No, you're right, though. It's kind of stupid.
It's stupid.
I just thought about the mad rush to get masks, and it was such a big deal, and everyone was reaching deep to get. I mean, everything cleared off the shelves.
It was like $30 a fucking box,
and you got like exactly
it's like shit.
So I mean, when they first came out, there was like somebody in our company was going, I've got someone down in South Texas, I can make some masks, and someone started whipping out these masks from their the wife was like with the sewing machine, and it's all kind of fucked up fabric. It's like some UPS brown and some McDonald's yellow on the backside,
Right.
and you fucking look like the Hamburglar fucking walking down the street with these masks on, but all kinds of weird colors. And they're like $10 a pop.
Right.
Like, get the fuck out of here, you know?
Well, we did the cut up the T-shirts
Yeah.
and roll them up or fold them up and then use rubber bands over our ears. We did that
Really?
in the very beginning, yeah. And I looked cool though.
I would have totally made fun of you.
I looked amazing.
That's probably why
A
you
lot
got
of people
COVID.
complimented me,
Yeah, that's how you got
especially
COVID.
at Kroger.
That's how you got COVID.
Probably. I got it from an old T-shirt.
Old T-shirt.
It had been around for decades.
You had the armpit under your nose.
Ah.
Yeah, what's crazy though, that the back then where the hand sanitizer was so expensive, the masks were ridiculous. You go to Home Depot, you couldn't find it, so you'd find it at Home Depot for $25-$30 a box.
Yeah.
Then you go to Buc-ee's and it's like $2.50 a box.
Remember those two?
It's a nickel.
Yeah, it's a nickel.
Do you
now.
remember those two brothers in like Tennessee?
But there was like
that,
one layer.
remember they bought like $8,000 worth of. They cleaned out all the hand sanitizer immediately when it hit, and then they tried to sell it back and gouge, and they arrested them.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
I recall that. Say it again. There was some brothers. They bought like a shitload of
Oh,
materials.
yeah. Cleaned out all the shelves of I'm sure a number of places, and went online and were selling them at like crazy rates, and they got busted and caught for
Yeah,
gouging.
you can't gouge in the times of emergency.
Yeah,
Like gas stations cannot.
right. There you go.
Yeah, well,
During normal times you can gouge, but during emergency times you cannot gouge.
Right.
market price is market price.
Yeah, if you want to try to
It
sell
seemed like
that
it'd be
gallon of
good
gas for
business.
$10 a gallon, you could try. No one will come to your station.
Right.
But when people are forced and you're the only station around that has gas, you can't gouge them.
All right, I've got another fun fact. I'm going to try to throw some cool things. I mean, so this is Thomas Jefferson helped make this happen. So what it is, remember Thomas Jefferson for a lot of things, like drafting the Declarations of Independence,
He's racist.
acting as the
he had
third
slaves.
president of the United States. But
That's what people think now.
I
Thomas
know.
Jefferson,
I hate him.
He didn't drink bourbon. He didn't like it at all. But however,
Pussy.
he did help make Kentucky bourbon what it is today. Because in the 1780s, he gave 60 acres. Because we had a lot of relationships with France,
Yes.
and I mean they were allies.
The French.
He gave 60 acres of Kentucky land to farmers, telling them to grow native crops. So he called one of the areas of the regions called the Bourbon County, and that was based on those were the folks that were that made the cognacs. So it's
okay.
just a correlation
The
between
Frenchmen.
cognac and so I mean really if you think of the lineage of it, it's interesting.
Have you ever had
It is.
cognac?
Oh yeah,
I don't know if I have.
I have not.
yeah. Cognac is just like bourbon.
Just like it.
What?
Well, yeah, it's got a more of a port taste to it. It's got a little more fruit in it.
What?
Shall we get a cognac?
No.
Wow.
What?
No.
Do we have to get
Why?
large snifters?
Because we're not French. You fucking do.
Oh,
Oh.
I mean, no. We're not trying cognac
COG.
We're drinking American
NAC.
whiskey. because we're American.
Well, we have Scotch. We have Irish whiskey.
Yeah,
So
but
cognac is basically it's a brandy is all it is.
we don't drink brandy. What's wrong with you guys? When did you become sissies?
Cognac. Yeah, but look, they have cool bottles and shoes.
Whoa.
And shoes?
What is that
And a seat.
flaunt cognac top?
Oh, they have cognac tops too for $98.
Nice.
Wow.
It's basically a wife beater for women.
Yeah, it is.
What is that?
Yeah, the
What is
cognac gun.
That.
So it's a
Decanter.
decanter.
Oh, good
Looks like a
Lord.
9mm.
Okay, we're derailing.
All right. Well, the brandy. What is brandy? I mean, how do you make brandy? Because really, yeah, grape. So
All right, we're all buying some cognac next time.
Oh, good Lord.
like I said, it's more of a. It's got more of a fruit flavor to it. It's kind of like a strong.
Yeah.
What is the
for
proof
fruits?
for a fruit? It's
They're
they're
fruit cakes.
they're around 80 proof. They're not as strong. They don't typically have a very strong cognac.
What cognac?
Yeah. So cognacs run about 80 proof.
Yeah, so go ahead, guys. Go buy your 60,
Is
75 proof.
Courvoisier a cognac?
Yeah, Courvoisier.
Courvoisier.
There are certain types of people that they'll go to the bar. They'll be like, I just want some Courvoisier and Coke. And in retrospect, now I'm thinking, or Martell and Coke. And I was thinking, dude, you're an idiot. Because I was thinking, oh, this stuff is really good. And now I'm like, totally is not good. Fuck that stuff. They need to be drinking it with Coke.
Right.
But it was so pompous for the same. Like, I want cognac and Coke, and I was like, get the fuck. Would you just order a bourbon and Coke? What do you want a
Right.
cognac and Coke for? Why?
Sad.
It made no sense to me.
It does now, though, right?
No, it still doesn't.
So you do not like cognac?
No, I think
I don't know
cognac.
if I've ever had it.
Cognac is good. It's not bad. I mean, cognac is one of those things that it's kind of like it's a very strong wine. So those people that grew up in wine country, and it's kind of like you have your wines and you have your cognacs, because cognac is kind of like a derivative from wine. It goes beyond a port.
So it's not barley and malt and corn and shit like
So
that. It's a grape.
There's
It's made from grapes.
let me see here. Well, yeah. So
Strong
cognac is
grapes.
a type of brandy, and after the distillation and during the aging process, let me see, grape. So by twice distilling grape produced in any of the designated growing regions. So the grapes, the white wine. So they use white wine in making cognac. So it's kind of like sake, so to speak, because sake is kind of like a rice wine.
It's a rice
they
wine.
convert, through a process.
Okay.
And I guess it's also how they make potato vodka. It's also a process. I mean,
You could distill just about anything, can't you? Any kind of grain or fruit.
yeah, yeah. That's it's so weird. Fruit. He sound like the fucking the tiger on. It's great. Yeah.
This is painful.
All right. So Paul said he's getting some Hennessy
not.
this next time.
Yeah, I'm not getting cognac.
Cognac.
I think we need to get one bottle
No,
just for the experience.
I disagree. There's like a million whiskeys we haven't gotten to yet.
Yeah, it's true.
So what do you think is the hardest bourbon to find out there?
Hardest to find?
Yeah. Like what the
Like a
seriously,
brand or
the
just
best bourbon is usually the hardest to find.
Yeah, I think that.
I disagree, but
Well,
go ahead, tell us.
there's a serious cult following around Pappy Van Winkle,
Correct.
yes. we knew that.
considered to be the best bourbon you can buy, except you can't buy it very often. Pappy Van Winkle is almost impossible to find. It typically requires years on a waiting list or a very deep wallet. Luckily, Buffalo Trace Whiskey began distilling Pappy Van Winkle in early 2000s. They also distill a bourbon called L.W. Weller's.
Yeah, Weller's. We have Weller.
Wellard.
Few
I like
realize this,
Me
but
too.
it's true. 12-year Weller's
I'm gonna go get some.
use the same recipe as Pappy.
It is. It's just aged in a different spot. It's the exact same mash bill.
Well, there's 10 years and 12 years.
Yeah,
That's
the
the
exact
difference.
same mash bill. I'm gonna go get some Wellers.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
No,
We've never done this
we
before.
Turn
you
a
can't-
corner.
You can't just leave the podcast and go get Wellers.
We've got 2.5, 3 minutes
Yeah,
left.
what's happening? We have
Son
another
of a
bourbon. We
bitch.
already chose. What is happening? We've lost control. He just left podcast.
Go get the Willers. What the
Oh,
fuck
yeah,
is wrong with you?
Don't come back in here without Wellers.
Jesus.
A jackass.
He walks all the way out there and then
Yeah,
comes back empty-handed.
Yeah, he teases us and then says, "Oh, fine, I won't get it."
All right.
What's
So
wrong with him?
while he's out there fondling the Weller's bottle, I'll do number 10. There are more barrels of bourbon than the people in Kentucky. So Kentucky is home to 4.7 million barrels of bourbon. It's only home to 4.7 million people. So there's really more bourbon barrels in Kentucky than people.
We don't have much left, so we have to be careful here.
You've got a tankard that's 3.5
Yeah,
liters.
I don't understand what's happening.
So it's basically the same mash bill, right? So this is basically the same mash bill as Pappy Winkle's 10-year.
Except we're saving a ton of money.
Well, that is a rather dense pour.
Yeah, are we doing another bourbon after the intermission?
Yes.
Are we planning on throwing up during the next one?
I got to work after the podcast.
I'm not saying we have to do.
Yes, we do.
This is 90 proof. So.
Oh, yeah, that's nothing.
That's only
That's nothing. Yeah, go ahead and overflow it.
Rim it out.
Weller's is always good.
Yeah.
It's good.
And honestly,
that's really good.
I really like. Oh my gosh, you can taste everything. I'm telling you, I think we're doing ourselves a disservice by not opening up every single bottle that we get as soon as we bring it home, and leave it open for a while.
This
because
is
that half bottle, this is a huge bottle, so it's 3.5 liters. Oh no, it's a liter.
3.5 liters.
I'm sorry, it's 1.5 liters.
Well,
so it's 1.5 liters. It's half full, so you got all that room for it to
breathe,
gas to off gas, so to speak, and all the flavors instantly come out. I think it's great. I think that's the way it should be done.
Yeah. And according to this, it's the original wheated.
Well, is Pappy Winkle wheated?
Yeah.
It's the same. Well, there you go.
It's the same mash bill.
So it's 1.75 liters, not 1.5 liters.
So
well, why would they have 750 milliliters for a bottle?
A smaller one, yeah. And then 1.75 for the big one.
I'm sure it has something to do with how many bottles you can get out of a barrel.
Probably.
That doesn't make sense because the denomination is.
Well, how many times does 350 milliliters go into 55 gallons?
Well, not What?
Yep. No, that's a valid point. Look up the liters to gallons.
Fucking gay
conversion.
No, they got 750 milliliter bottles.
Yes, they do.
That's a normal bottle. That's what we all buy.
Yes, the small bottle. This one.
Yeah, and then double that.
It's not double.
This is not. This is
I know.
more
That's my
than
point. That's my point. It should be double.
No, it's 1.75.
So it's a.
All right. So what's the size of a regular
1,000s.
Magnum?
Huh?
Do 1.75 liters.
You get to 357.
Or 1750 milliliters, whatever. Yeah, okay. 1.75 liters should be a half gallon. 1.75.
So a Magnum. So 1.5 liters is a Magnum.
Basically a half gallon.
So that's not. So what is that again?
A half gallon. 1.75.
Is a half gallon?
Yes.
That's retarded. So.
Well, not quite a half gallon.
So it says 1.5 liters equals a Magnum. So a Magnum is what you would say. I'd like a Magnum of wine or Magnum of anything.
I want you to go to Total Wine and say that. I'm looking for a Magnum of Jack Daniels.
Dude,
they have them.
They say that all the time.
Not of Jack Daniels.
No one says that.
Homeboy said Magnum last week when we were there.
Of wine, not.
Well, he used the word Magnum. I don't give a fuck what he's talking about.
What are you talking about, Magnum?
PI.
No one says the word Magnum.
PI.
PI.
Well, you get I've heard Magnum in when used with wine. You can buy that's the huge bottles of wine.
I know
so
you can get
given that each standard bottle contains 5 glasses of wine, it isn't extravagant to suggest a bottle for a table of 4 dinners. So this works out where the Magnum is basically double that. So it's 10. What does that say? What does that?
Yeah, a 1.5 liter Magnum is equivalent to 2 standard 750 milliliter bottles, but that's not what this is. This is not a Magnum.
I agree with you. I agree with you. So
bigger than a Magnum.
No, it's smaller. No,
bigger.
It's bigger.
Correct.
It's bigger, but why?
I don't know. Because they want it to be close to a half gallon. I don't know. I agree with you. It has something to do. It has something to do with how many bottles you can get out of a gallon.
Out of a barrel.
Out of a barrel.
Out of a barrel.
55 gallons.
Is it 55 gallons?
That's what 55-gallon barrels. Isn't that what we saw up there? 55-gallon barrels.
I don't know.
Right.
The producer's going to have to tell us what a standard bourbon barrel holds.
Wow.
Is it 55 gallons? Man, we're doing a lot of looking up because we don't know anything. Standard bourbon barrel. There we go. Good. It has 53 gallons. Okay. All right, now go back to your conversion rate and look up 1.75. Okay, so we know that's
Well, you want to do
0.46. So I guess we need to do 0.4623. 53 divided by that. Wow.
That was aggressive.
53 gallons
Nice.
divided by 0.4623. Let's do the math. Our viewers want to know.
our
That will
viewers.
tell us how many. You tell me. Read it to me. Is your microphone not working, Mr. Producer? Just tell me.
That's 119.
Exactly?
118.97. So yes, pretty much.
There you go.
Producer, confirm that, please.
So you get 119 of these
There you go. That's why they did it.
out of a barrel.
But they're doing it to make it an even number. Or not an even number,
You know
but
what? I wasn't even listening.
a whole
And
number.
you know, and here's the thing. That's bullshit.
Okay.
Yeah, because you never know what's going to be in the barrel. Because you got the devil's cut and the angel share.
You know what?
So
That's a very good point.
you never know.
That's
So
a good point.
it makes no sense whatsoever.
There is evaporation.
Yeah. So it makes none.
Yeah, and he's absolutely right. You don't know. It's variable of what you're going to get out of a barrel.
Well, I think they can get close. They could probably say they could probably predict how much they're going to get out.
That reminds me. So at the Garrison Brothers, they don't have 53-gallon barrels. They have smaller barrels. I don't know if you saw that.
You don't have to use the big barrels.
So they had smaller barrels, and they were trying different things in terms of, because, Texas, where they age in open air, is totally different than Kentucky, right?
Sure
It's
it
a lot
is.
hotter here. Major differences in the in the degree, in the variations. And they said they were trying different things, and they opened up a bunch of barrels. They were all empty. Completely empty.
They all evaporated.
They all evaporated, and they were like, "Oh my God, that was like $1 million mistake."
Oh no.
Yes, that's what the guy was. The dude at Garrison Brothers was telling us about. Anyway, so yeah, no, you're absolutely right, Sean. Massive variance in. I guess if the barrels were all in the same climate, right, and they know it's climate controlled, maybe. I mean,
Wasn't it the more that the more it evaporates, it wasn't the
so hard.
more
The variables
thick it would be?
are so difficult because you got the thickness of what? The barrels?
Well, the more it evaporates, does it get thicker or more
the-
concentrated?
I don't think so.
viscosity or
Well, doesn't it get more like?
or use
like
that
if
word again?
You like viscosity?
No, it doesn't get thick like syrup. No.
So would it get
No.
stronger though, flavor wise?
Well, if you
Because stuff evaporates out of it, right? Wouldn't the solids of it stay
it
there?
becomes more condensed.
Okay, so you're thinking that it separates and that water evaporates and something gets left behind. It doesn't. The bourbon itself evaporates, like in its
So
entirety.
everything.
Yes, in its entirety.
All right,
Yes,
all right.
yes. You can't separate the water out of bourbon. Now I'm a chemist. Did you know I had so many talents?
You're a mathlete and a chemist.
I'm a mathlete. I'm a geologist. I'm a chemist. On this podcast, I fucking know everything.
You're a foil.
I am the foil.
You're a jackass.
No, I'm the foil that holds this podcast together with.
Do we have some music?
So we're almost done
Yeah,
with
why-
this.
why
So
aren't
we
we?
need to make sure we go find another tanker to this.
Okay.
It's getting a little thin.
All right, so I'll do one more. I'll do a couple more of these things. You guys know what mint juleps are?
Yes,
What are they?
that's the official drink of the Churchill Downs, right?
I was yawning, but I heard midget tulips.
Mint julep. That's the official
These are
drink. That's the official drink of the Churchill Downs.
Small people juleps.
Kentucky Derby. The Kentucky Derby.
I said tulips.
So,
midget tulips.
So mint juleps were created to disguise bad bourbon. So
I didn't know that. but-
they
Like selling fraudulent stuff.
what they did so they disguised
Oh, I see.
lousy whiskeys because up here somewhere
Those are called mixers.
they have let me see here bourbon. I'm going to do two in one. So bourbon requires no minimum age.
They
all
invented
right?
Coke.
So
to
there
go with
may
those,
be
yes.
a minimum age to
Problem
drink
solved.
it, but there's no set of number of years to age bourbon. So technically speaking, as long as it sits in a new oak barrel charred for even a millisecond, it's legal to call it bourbon. That said,
Just
anything,
like the Pabst Clear Bourbon.
yes,
They actually run it over oak
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
That's all they do.
That's retarded.
They let it run over it. For
So
a second.
that said, that anything aged for less than 4 years requires an age statement on the label. Unaged or the White Dog bourbon sometimes sold at the distillery. So then I jump over here back to the mint juleps. It says some of these that, like you said, just pour over the plank. Back in the day, we weren't as great at distilling, and all the off flavors. We used mint and plenty of sugars to disguise the bourbons. Thus, the mint julep was born.
Ugh, gross.
So I guess
That's where like bottled and bond came from, because people were
They needed
bootlegging and
consistency.
yeah, they were coming up
quality.
with, they were lying about what was in it, and so bottled and bond came along to verify that it was
So that's the
good stuff.
government. That's the government. They regulated it.
Correct. Very nice. And so that reminds me, when I was in Fredericksburg, I went to, I guess there's a local distillery there. It wasn't Garrison Brothers, but some other one that mainly they make wine and they have vodka, and they also had whiskey, not bourbon, but whiskey. And so I, being the connoisseur or
The sommelier.
sommelier that I am,
French.
I went up there and I was like, yeah, we'll have some of your bourbon, and I'll have one neat, and I'll have one with Coke for Shelley, right? I knew she wouldn't drink it. And so we both got it and sat down, and I was like,
That's nasty.
and my wife was like, it was bad. It was bad.
Really?
And I was like, okay, wow. And I went back up there, and I was like, oh, yeah, how long do you age your whiskey? And he goes, well, we flash, we flash, what do they call it?
Flash aging?
Flash age it. Thank you. We flash age it. And I was like, oh, no. And I was like, please, describe. Well, we have a bag of charred chips that we dip it in the...
Like a tea bag?
Yeah, yes. I was like, get the fuck out. That was when I texted you guys. I was like, get the fuck out of here. You don't remember that?
God.
When I texted you guys?
So they put a bag, so like
Yeah,
steep.
they flash age
steep
it by putting a bag of chips in
That's
it.
not aging it.
No, it's not aging it.
It's
Well,
not
the
aging
And
it.
it was very light. That's what I was really
It's still
worried
called
about.
the bourbon.
I saw that. Well, this one, I don't think it was a.
Was there any
bourbon.
color to it?
There was some color, but not much. Not much.
It's like a tea bag.
Yeah, it was bad.
All right.
It
So
was not a good whiskey at all.
this is some disheartening information, which really kind of pisses me off. That the taxes account for more than half the bottle of bourbon.
There's a government for you.
60%, about 60% of the cost of any given bottle of bourbon goes to the government. On top of that,
Even today.
even today, on top of that, bourbon producers in Kentucky pay over $14 million in property taxes to store their barrels. That is an incredible amount of taxes.
Yeah, it's sad.
So if you buy a let's do easy math, $100 bottle of bourbon, that should cost $40 is what the cost should be.
Yeah.
Plus tax. Let's add a little bit of tax. So let's say $43.
Whatever. Just say,
So they're getting 60
we
bucks.
should be paying a third of the price. I would just say, we should be paying a third of the price ish.
Yeah, like this bottle was $40.
Yeah.
Right.
15.
$10.
Yeah.
Fucking government.
Yeah, it makes me sad. Yes. It hurts my heart that the government takes that much money.
Jeff, have you had a tough day today?
Yeah, my day. Well, no, it's just work just beats you down every now and then. I'm in that phase.
Yeah, for some reason I am too. Tell you, I've never ever in my entire life have racked up a queue of. I think I talked about this before about the emails.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have not been able to get that number down below 100, and mine usually sit about 10, 15.
God, it's insane. Are
And-
they all different claims?
Dude, yeah. Well, I mean, no,
Like there's 100 unhandled claims?
no.
Okay.
They're about 50 claims.
Shit.
So it's just like, and they're people that want something,
Great.
And
and
they keep emailing you, which just makes it go
yeah.
101, 102.
Yeah.
Right.
And it stresses me out. Every time I hear my phone go ding, I'm just like, fuck. Somebody else wants something, and I'm going as fast as I can, man. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I don't have much of that. I do have 15,000 unread emails, but it's because I'm copied on
Right.
a ton of shit. And
Why
I
don't,
can.
why don't
here's the
you
other thing,
select all
I
and
can
delete?
Well, I know I need to, but I can preview them. You know how you can preview them and then not mark them as read. That's all of them. Like I'm previewing everything because I can't.
Yeah, you do. If you just delete them,
I don't know.
when you got 15,000, it does so much to your. Because when you open that up, it eats away your RAM. I believe, or something like that.
That hasn't been a problem, but I will tell you that it's just poor mailbox management.
Well, it's all cloud based as well.
Yeah,
That's
it's all
interesting.
cloud-based.
Mailbox management. That seems to we need that as a topic, as far as mailbox management. Dudes like us have a problem with that.
Let me just give you an example. Let's say you're reading a bunch of emails, and then every single time the window stays open, right? So when you click on the outbox thing, there's so many emails that are opened that causes stress. I don't know about you guys, but I'm like, God, I have so many that I have to scroll down. I'm talking about opened emails. I'm not talking about in my inbox, right?
Oh yeah.
And then that's just mismanagement. And then you got to sit there and you got to like close each one of them. And you're like, did I do something on that one? Okay, close, that kind of thing. That just gives me anxiety. That part gives me stress. The fact that I don't manage my windows very well.
Break time. Guys,
all right, cool.
Thank you. First half, I think we're going to come back a little loose.
Well, yeah, we just did 2 bourbons in 1 podcast.
Well, this didn't count. It was just a small pour.
Oh, it doesn't count. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
We can discard the physiological effects too.
Yes.
Kind of like my FFL scores this week.
Ooh,
against,
let's talk about that.
Dude, 186
you got
points.
trounced. I think that was a record of getting your ass beat.
I still scored 110. All right, peace out. We'll see you in a little bit.
Bye.